My name is John Stremsterfer, and I'm a board member of the Citizens Club of Springfield, and welcome this morning. I want to say a thank you to Stephen and Lisa Stone for being our coffee sponsor here this morning. Thank you very much for helping us all wake up. As I think many in this room know, the purpose of the Citizens Club is to educate and inform members and friends about issues that are important to our community. And as we like to say, we're not telling you what to think, but more importantly, hopefully, what to think about. Little commercial for the Citizens Club. Annual dues are $30. You can pay up at the front here. Carol Sutton's up there to take your money every time. You can pay more than once a year. We'll take that too. This morning we are joined by Scott Dahl, the director of the Springfield Convention and Visitors Bureau. Scott has served as director of the Springfield Convention and Visitors Bureau since August of 2018. He's served during a very unusual time, I would say. Prior to leading the SCVB, he was regional director of membership for the Illinois Hotel and Lodging Association for 16 years. Scott started his tourism career operating hotels for Equity Hotel Corporation in Illinois and Missouri. Thanks for being here today, Scott. And moderating our discussion is Judy Wagenblast. Judy has lived in Springfield 3 times. 3's the charm, I hope. During graduate school at what was Sangamon State University, and again after she made the choice to return here in 2006, and returning finally to take on the job of Director of Community Education at Lincoln Land Community College. And Judy is one of the most, I think, engaged and curious citizens I've met, and so it's going to be a wonderful discussion. So with that, Judy and Scott, take it away.
Well, thank you very much, John, and good morning to all of you. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, Judy. Good morning, Citizens Club.
We want to have some fun today, so we're just going to chat as if we were sitting in more comfortable chairs. These aren't bad, though. So, let's get started. Scott, we've heard your bio, but we need to understand more about what the Springfield Convention and Visitor Bureau is all about, and especially that phrase, destination marketing. Can you tell us more?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks again, Judy, and thanks again to the Citizens Club. Destination marketing is what the word implies, destination. It's really aimed at the traveler. All of our marketing efforts are outside of 50 miles, generally within 90 miles. We have a 5-state drive region that we concentrate on. So all those efforts move towards that visitor coming into town. But we not only market, we sell, right?
You sell?
We do. We service, and we can talk about it in a little bit. We have a services department as well. We have a tourism department that promotes Springfield not only domestically, but internationally. And we can get into that a little bit as well. We have a visitor center, and again, we can touch on that. But really, our primary efforts are outside of the Springfield outside the Springfield area. That's why you don't see us in town, right? People ask us, why don't we see Visit Springfield, which, by the way, our legal name is the Springfield Convention and Visitors Bureau. Outside of Springfield, it's Visit Springfield. It just rolls off the tongue. It's easier to relate. So I'll be referring to us as Visit Springfield. But yeah, I mean, that's why you don't see us as much in town. Now, I will tell you, as John alluded to, 2020 changed that a bit, right?
Yes.
You know, where we were 99% in this destination space and outside of Springfield, 2020 really made us more regional, really brought us back to that community because people were not traveling in 2021. We returned to that destination side. And so again, that's why you don't see a lot of our advertising and marketing locally.
I went to the website under Visit Springfield, so I know that that's an approach that you take, and that's pretty common these days in the Convention and Visitor Bureau industry, correct? To use a different name, a jazzier name?
It is, yes. I mean, Visit Springfield, and I think you come from that world, right?
I have, yes. I spent a few years working with the Springfield, I'm sorry, I confuse my cities and my counties all the time, but with Green Bay and their area Visitor and Convention Bureau. And of course, you know what we had in Green Bay to talk about.
Absolutely. What's that?
Oh, a whole lot of things, just like Springfield, a whole range of things and places to go. But the Packers, of course, were number one.
But then again, we're not here to talk about the Packers, are we?
No, we're not.
But I want to add as well that what makes us unique in Illinois is that Visit Springfield is the only certified Convention and Visitors Bureau that is also a city agency. And I think that really gives us an advantage. And I traveled Illinois for 16 years, having conversations not only with hotels, but with tourism bureaus, right? And I was able to see how they operated, their strengths and their weaknesses. And a strength for us is that we have a dedicated 3% local hotel tax funding, whereas other areas, they're separate entities, they're not-for-profits, they have to go to their cities and ask for funding every year. We have a direct line, and that's a huge advantage for us.
I bet it is. It didn't occur to me to begin with because my orientation was different from that, but I do know that you have been very much a leader in boosting it. Not that people before didn't boost tourism also, but in your, was it 18 years?
16.
16.
Yes.
Okay.
Close.
In your time,
Yeah.
you have done a masterful job with your staff, I think, probably in building us up as a destination.
Well, thank you for that, and absolutely. I would put the Visit Springfield team in any market in America, and I'm talking about Chicago, Orlando, Las Vegas. We have the team, 190 years of experience on the team.
Wow.
The team that we've assembled could compete anywhere, and I think that's unique as well, because we're a small market, right? We have a big team in a small market, and in a minute we'll see those results. I do want to touch on a slide that you just saw, and that's the Illinois Office of Tourism. They're a partner for ours. They're a genuine partner that we rely on quite a bit. The photo that you saw, Jane Lynch, Sunrise Donut sign. I will not retell that story again because a lot of people are tired of that story. But that really in 2018 kicked off our Route 66 efforts, and we'll dive into that a little bit later.
Yes,
but
yes.
We're very proud of this. This was front and center in a $30 million state tourism campaign a year ago, and we couldn't be prouder about, Springfield being focused, and that sign right there that we kept in Springfield.
Now, one of the things that I was oriented to when I first started working with the Bureau was the phrase heads in beds.
Yeah.
Tell us about heads in beds.
Well, again, that's the destination marketing side, right? We're focused on the traveler. Not that we don't want the day trippers, the stopovers. Those are very important too. But as I alluded to, our funding comes from the local hotel tax. So that's what we're focused on. 3% comes from the local hotel tax. We want to be sure that people are coming here for a unique experience and spending the night. And we recognized that early in 2018. Probably the number one question we asked or we received at the visitor center was, how long are you here? And they said, we wish we would have had more time. We're only here to stop over, and we get here and we're thinking, wow, there's so much to see. We wish we were spending the night. They just hadn't built it in to their itineraries and their travel plans. And so we came out with a logo that said, we're more than one day. And we've been hammering that home. I don't think we have that up here now, but we've been hammering that home since 2018. And our marketing team has done a great job with that. And I think it's resonating. I think we're seeing that in that overnight visitor, and we can get to those numbers in a minute, but I really think that is. And I think we've got the slide up here now of the visitor center inside the Lincoln Herndon law offices. I hope everyone has had a chance to stop by there. It's not just for visitors, okay? It's for residents too, so please stop by. You'll learn a little bit more about Springfield and be a tourism in your hometown. But you can see here, when we had our visitor center at our administrative offices on 7th Street, we'd see about 3,000 visitors stop by a year. Since moving in 2018 to the Lincoln Herndon law offices, you can see here we're projecting 18,000 visitors in 2023.
That's a jump.
It is. Coming off of 20 and 21. But I think the most interesting stat here is this. All 50 states and 65 countries. We see international travelers every single day. They love Abraham Lincoln, but they're here for Route 66.
That's interesting. Well, we're going to talk about both of those sources of attraction in a minute, but I'd like to ask you about the Wyndham Hotel. I don't think that all is finished. We've had quite a bit of dialogue going on over the recent months, but do we need more hotel rooms than we have other uses for? Do we need to get revenue that drives up the beds and heads and beds?
Yeah, that too. And before I touch on the Wyndham, the economic impact of tourism in Sangamon County, as you can see up here on the screen, $536 million in traveler expenditures, over $500 million. The first time in history that we've gone over $500 million. I think it was about $100 million less when the team was assembled in 2018. So we're making strides there. I think our best years are ahead of us. We will break records again this year. I would be surprised if we didn't go over $550 million in traveler expenditures. You can see here, $17 million in local taxes, 3,500 jobs. We know we're government, we know we're medical, right?
Yes.
We have some great corporate here, but tourism is right along those lines of the economic impact it makes for Sangamon County.
Yes, those are dollars that we can feel, whether we own a business that benefits from it or we just see all the people that are shopping or going into this place or that.
Right. So back to the Wyndham, right?
Mhm.
Yes, very important property for us. You can see here in Springfield we have 4,000 hotel rooms, 375,000 square feet of meeting space combined, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Wyndham's part of that, right? They're one of our
Yes.
3 big convention hotels.
Yes.
Very important for us, along with the DoubleTree and the Crown. We have 35 large conventions booked through 2025 right now that impact and use not only the Wyndham, but the DoubleTree and the Crown. And we're obligated to those. And so, yes, the Crown as a convention property hotel is very, very important to us. And we want to see it do well, right? Yeah, I think that we work with the owners. I'll leave that up to the policymakers. Certainly the City Council, Mayor Misty Busher, they're on that. They're really moving that forward, and I think we'll have some news in the near future.
That's good. We're eager to hear that and get that settled so we can move on to another point of discussion. I also want to talk about what's next to those 2 downtown hotels. That's the BOS Center. I have heard it described as a classic Goldilocks situation. Too small for the big shows, too big for the small shows. Tell us about the BOS. Do we need to expand it, and why?
Yeah, I personally think, yes, we do. And, listen, we're fortunate to have the BOS Center, so proud of the renovations they did about 8 years ago, and really bringing that up to par,
Mm-hmm.
and, what the uses it could be for. But here's, for me, why we need to expand, and that is the BOS Center it's an expo space. It's an event venue, right? They've got 45,000 square feet on their expo space. They have 20,000 square feet in meeting rooms in the lower level. That's what it should be used for. We need separate convention space, 120,000 square feet of separate convention space so that we can use both the way they're supposed to be used. Think about this. We have large conventions using the convention space. We have the event venue, expo, right next door. So when they can't book, let's say, we hear about all the time, concerts that can't be booked or events that cannot be booked. A lot of times they're overbooked, right?
Yes.
They can't accept those because they've already got a convention in there, or they've already got meetings, and the space just is not available. And I think that's the number one, is that we need more available space. And I believe our lost business report at the Bureau, I believe a feasibility study will show, as it did in 2008 when they did the feasibility study, because we've been talking about this expansion for a decade. Some of you have been around for that. You remember the discussions for the expansion. So we've been talking about this. This isn't anything new. And for these reasons, we need more available space. Our main competitor is Peoria, when we're talking about Illinois in general. There's some other outside multi-state convention centers that we compete against, but it's really Peoria. And Peoria's got 110,000 square feet plus. We go back and forth with them. We need more available space, and we need the BOS Center to be used what it was intended to be used for.
How would that expand? Build up?
Yes, yeah, so that's how we would expand. So many of you know that the transportation hub, the $100 million transportation hub will be
Yes.
completed in 2025. The county is using that South County parking lot, just south of the BOS Center right now. That will be available because they're putting in a 600-plus space parking deck
Oh,
to match the transportation hub. So yes, there's a footprint there that we can have 40,000 square feet per level. We'd build up 3 levels connected to the BOS Center. In my mind, we would also connect it to the Wyndham because then you have all 3 properties connected. If you've been to Minneapolis, you'll know that they have skywalks. They connect everything in Minneapolis because they don't want anyone going outside. And that also resonated in Peoria. A number of years ago, they connected the Pierre Marquette to the Peoria Civic Center. They put a skywalk across there. You'd be like, well, they're right across the street. Why do you need a skywalk? Nobody wants to go out in the fall, the winter. They want to be able to not put on that coat. And even though you're right across the street, you need to have that connectability. You need to have that those inside corridors that people can connect to. So in my mind, that would further the Wyndham as well. And I think the BOS Center expansion helps the Wyndham, makes it more valuable, and really adds to what we need to.
I think that sounds like a great concept to have all of that so close by, so close together, and with an easy weather protecting kind of a facility in between.
And tied directly to the new transportation hub as well, right?
Yes.
So think about this corridor that we have here all of a sudden. And think about what's happening in town. I know there's probably a slide at the end, but I'm going to jump a little ahead. And that is, the $250 million that's being invested in our state capital complexes. The millions of dollars in the old state capitol, the Armory, $130 million, this transportation hub, $100 million. We put an expansion next door. There's instant connectivity between there. I would love to see a pedestrian walkway through there as well, between 8th and 9th Streets. I think that would be great. We could use it for festival space, which is needed. I know
Okay, you're
Kayla's-
hearing about a new idea. Let's see what the follow-up is.
It's not new, actually. I won't tell you my other one. Kayla will tell you that, but there's another one. But no, you can see where this happened, and it really, expands our downtown and does what we've said, and the experts say that we need, right? More traffic downtown. Right?
Yes.
More business downtown.
Well, that leads me to the concept of having a special convention district downtown. I understand that you have spoken about that before. Our mayor has spoken about that. Tell us what that is all about.
Absolutely. So the mayor is certainly bullish on this. The county is. SMEA, the BOS Center, obviously Visit Springfield, coming together with the Tourism Improvement District. So in February of 23, Governor Pritzker signed TID legislation into law. It allows you to create districts, in our case, likely Sangamon County, we're moving through that right now, that will add an assessment to hotel rooms. So it's not a tax. Tax is usually applied by government and controlled by government. This is the district. It's an assessment on the hotel room. So when you receive your statement, you would have a $2 charge or a $3 charge. And you've probably seen these in other areas because there's over 200 of these nationwide. This isn't anything new. It's very similar to a business district like we have all over.
Yes.
Legacy Park or Legacy Point is a good example of that, where they have a business district. It's very similar to that. But it allows the governing board for the TID, which is made up of hoteliers, to control those dollars and to set the rate for that. So yes, we're looking to be the first TID. We have some special legislation. Thankful for Representative Coffey and Senator Turner for having this special Sangamon County only legislation that passed, but we have to take advantage of it before December 31st of 2023.
So there must be a proposal in writing already.
Well, there is a district plan of a concept, and I will tell you that on this past Tuesday night, the Sangamon County passed the intent for a TID. So the intent is there. We'll be moving through that process in the next 30 to 45 days to try to meet that December 31st deadline.
And what will we use that revenue for?
Well, the legislation targets it towards improvements to the BOS Center. So for this tourism district, if we go ahead and pass it and have it in place, would be for what we intended to be a BOS Center expansion or improvements to the BOS Center. Now, if we get down the road and we get the feasibility study and we get the cost and the numbers don't pan out, the district can be dissolved, a new district can be created, and it can be used for marketing, events, subsidies, you name it. There's a list of items can be used for. But for us, having it used for a capital project, I think, is the number one, and that's why we should take a look at it. I'll also add that the tourism improvement districts, they're set for 5 years. That's the standard legislation.
Okay.
The special legislation we received is a 20-year TID district, which allows for those capital projects. So that's why it's so important that we take a look at this, get it to the other side, and then really vet this BOS center expansion. We got to remember the land's not going to be available until 25 anyway, so we do have some time.
Well, and that sounds good to me as a taxpayer. I don't think it would affect me, but it obviously will affect the hotel owners. What's their reaction to this whole concept? Because it means an upcharge on the sales tax for hotel rooms, right?
It's an assessment, not a tax. I'm going to get that clear.
Okay.
You're not the first one. No, listen.
I know I'm not.
Here's the thing about the TID, which is so appealing to the hotel industry, is that they control it. We proposed a seven-member board, all made up of hotel people. So they're controlling, they're driving this. They're setting the assessment. So again, we need to speed it up, to slow it down, and take a solid look at this expansion. If the hotel industry doesn't think this is the best for their industry and or the city, then they can dissolve the district.
And we can move on to something else.
We can move on to something else, but we really need to take a look at this because, I also personally believe that we should ask for an investment from the state and really what else can the city do? And we're looking at all that, and we have time to do it. We have a year to do this or more, really, before that land is available. And so I think what's so exciting is the synergy between the city, county, SMEA, and Visit Springfield. I just think we're all on the same page. We're all trying to work toward the same goal, and that's so nice to see.
That's so nice and so important, too, for the success we hope for. I'd like to move on to the visitor assessment. The people who come here for different reasons. You've alluded to that in the beginning. But the tourists who come and the conventioneers who come, they come with a sense of, I have a destination, right? Have we got that? Yes. I have a destination. I want to see this. I want to do this. And I'm wondering if, in fact, we have a likability factor. I don't know if that's a word, but we're going to use it anyway. Likability.
Oh, absolutely. We have a likability for us. And as far as a survey, so we had planned a survey.
We being?
Being the Bureau.
Bureau.
The Springfield Bureau had planned that survey. It got stopped through 2020. So we were going to take a look at that. I think our last visitor survey was in 2010. But in lieu of that, we've used human movement data in its place.
I was going to ask about getting around, so tell us more.
Well, and this is using pinging cell phones. So this is we use a software called Placer AI, and we're able to geofence not only events but areas, and really being able to get a response back on who's traveling, where they're traveling from, all the demographics that go in behind that. So even though we haven't had technically a survey as you would think of it, as we did. And I think UIS did it last time, and we'd be real interested in speaking with UIS again on doing a traditional survey. But in the meantime, we're using technology.
Sure.
And, we're figuring out where people are coming from, where they're going to. We can retarget them with messages. So we're using technology on the survey side to figure out who's here.
And younger people are probably right with you.
They are definitely right with us. But one of our main demographics is the boomers, right? The boomers are, they have disposable incomes, they have more time. So yes, it's very important to us, but certainly, we want that whole Gen X and that Gen Z, and certainly throw the Y in there too, whatnot.
Well, one of the things that they like every day is food, good food.
Yeah.
I bet we have a restaurant owner or a person here, certainly other downtown beverage establishments. What can you suggest is going on with our food situation here in Springfield?
Well, I mean, we're a food town, right? We eat out for entertainment in Springfield, don't we? We do. You know,
We do.
go to different places, and we like to see people in the community. I think the number's like 300 plus restaurants. You know, we are certainly a foodie town. All, you know, different types of food that you can get. Obviously, you know, we lean on Route 66, the culinary aspect of Route 66 and what that brings. We've all had a cozy dog, or at least we hope we have, right? From the Waldmeyers.
And I saw you last summer over at the Lincoln home where we were learning about Mary Todd Lincoln's cake.
Yes,
So-
yes, and that's part of our History Comes Alive program, our
Yes,
summer
yes.
history program, and that's
Yes.
History Cooks every Friday at noon through the summer. Starts in June, right up to the State Fair. So we will be doing that again as well. But yes, absolutely. I think, you know, those culinary delights. I think that, you know, we have a unique number of breweries, right, in town. I think we promote that, and our marketing team does a great job doing that. And what about the Horseshoe, right? I mean, Horseshoe,
Yeah.
unique to Springfield. You know, we certainly, you know, market that. Actually, we have a new Horseshoe Trail that'll be, actually was,
Oh, I haven't heard about
I think
that.
they rolled it out yesterday or the day before.
It'll
Yeah.
roll out in January.
Okay.
Oh, my
We're
goodness.
building it now.
Is there anybody here who's never had a horseshoe?
Thank you.
Not a
Uh-oh.
hand,
No.
Oh, well,
Elizabeth.
Well, I'm good to see it's only one person, so yes. And we won't name names for those people that are looking.
right,
for
right.
We won't
I
name
can't
names.
even see you, so.
But this new Horseshoe Trail, it's all digital, and real excited about it. The marketing team has worked very, very hard on that, and so excited to get this rolled out. But we'll have more of those coming. But I think from a culinary aspect, you know, we've got a lot to offer.
We have heard a lot about the Shields Sports Complex, but I know there's always something new. Any updates you can provide for us?
And before I jump to that, I want to jump right back to the arts real quick because
Oh,
hey, we're
okay.
in the Hoagland, right? I gotta talk about the arts real quick. And you know, obviously the arts are an important part of what we do from a destination standpoint. It may not be the complete reason people come here, but certainly something that people want when they come here. They want to know our arts community,
Yes.
not only productions, but obviously the Springfield Art Association, Springfield Arts Council. We work with both. We rolled out the Fido Puppies along with DSI and the City of Springfield this past summer. So if you haven't seen the puppies around downtown, be sure you look for them.
I love the puppies.
You like the puppies, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we saw a slide, or will see one.
I think we had one just a
Okay.
minute ago. Yes, there they are. One right in
There
front of
we
IND
are.
in the Capitol.
This
right there.
little guy has a newspaper in his mouth. I like that one.
And so you can see from our murals as well, and you know, that's a fun mural here, but you know, Art Alley, we have 9 Route 66 murals that will be appearing from Williamsville to Auburn, right through the heart of downtown in spring of '24, so watch for those. I'm real excited about one at Kidsey and Buzzbomb, and I won't roll it out quite yet, but it will pay tribute to the Route 66 Monarch Flyway. And it's going to be incredible, and I cannot wait to talk about that more. But, you know, we have arts, right? Lincoln's and Springfield, so forth, so our arts are very important to us.
Well, and in terms of that mural project, I think it was $623,000 that the city of Springfield, through your bureau, actually received out of the budget from the state to promote Route 66. Did we get our fair share?
Oh, I think we did. And, you know, this is our second round of Route 66. So the first round, we received $1.1 million. It helped complete the Illinois State Fairgrounds Route 66 experience at Gate 2. I hope
Yes.
you've all been by there. It's open 365 days a year. It's self-guided, so please get by there. That helped that. Phase 2 was this 623 that we received from the state. No match. We don't have to match any of these dollars. And the mural,
That's great.
yeah, right? The mural trail is part of that. We're linking to Great Rivers and Routes in southern Illinois, and this is really Illinois Route 66 focused. Shays Gas Station is on there as well. If you haven't been by North Peoria Road and Shays Gas Station, yes, we will be reopening Shays Gas Station in spring of '24. Yeah, thank you.
Wow, that's going to look
Trying to
different.
keep up with
Thank
all
you.
of
You're doing great. Absolutely. So you can
Yes,
see
you
here,
are.
this is actually, it looked worse. This is actually after it was painted and then the concrete pavement. This is what it'll look like in spring of '24. And so stay tuned for that. But that was part of this Route 66 2.0 grant. And then we'll have 12 wayside exhibits that will stretch from Williamsville to Auburn, giving more people information from a wayside exhibit standpoint along touch points along Route 66.
That's exciting.
And then our Living Legends rolled this out. This has been a program since 2019. I think we were rolling out in 2020 and whoops. Yeah, 2020 happened. And so, but this has been a very important program for us because it brings the road alive and it really identifies our Route 66 Living Legends along the way, our attractions, and it brings some personality, right, to Route 66. Because it's more than about selfies and neon. It's about the stories of Route 66. And we have stories. And visitors, travelers, they want to hear the stories. They want to experience the stories. And we're not going to let them down.
That's especially going to draw in foreign people as well, don't you think?
100%, yes. The UK, Germany, China, Japan, they come for Route 66. They love Lincoln. They obviously know about Lincoln, but it gives us something outside of being the home of Abraham Lincoln. And, they're coming for that. And, the 100th anniversary is in 2026.
Yes.
It's
coming
also...
up. Planning underway.
Yeah, exactly, it is. And so, we're expecting 1 million international visitors alone, combined with North America hosting the World Cup.
How do you market to the international audience? Because obviously that's more expensive probably than your budget allows.
And that's where we lean on the Illinois Office of Tourism. State grants
another connection.
provide our international travel dollars and our international marketing. So we lean on the state to provide that aspect. Otherwise, I'm not for sure we'd get there. It's very expensive to do. Darren Thurman, our tourism manager, and McKinley Jones will be traveling the world next year, again, because of the state of Illinois. And so we're very fortunate to that. So we target the countries based on what the Illinois Office of Tourism delivers for us, and then just knowing through the years, because we've been doing this for 20 years, right? So we have a good idea. But yes, they are definitely coming for Route 66. They'll continue to come for Route 66. And I was looking at here just a couple of the new things coming down the road. This silo right here is at the Gate 2. This is actually the Stadium Smokehouse. They did this on their own. And that's what's exciting is, we're generating that, and we have business owners that are taking ownership in Route 66 and doing murals and other things on their own.
I've noticed more people taking the name Route 66 in front of their restaurant or their shop or whatever. That's cool.
It's so exciting to see. I mean, we're so excited to see that. And then I think it all really stemmed from us, one, purchasing the Sunrise Donut sign, putting a line in the sand that we are a Route 66 hub in Illinois, and I believe the entire route. And then we followed it up with this interpretive master plan that we started in 2019, and again, had a couple years there. We rolled it out in December of 2022. And we are using the projects in this plan and our state grants to get the projects done and get the funding, because we can point to the plan. These projects are in the plan. The experts say that we should be doing these things, and this is why we need the money. And it's really been an easy approval from the state because they can see it, they can see where we're going, we have it laid out.
Are we an award-winning Visitor and Convention Bureau?
We're certainly an accredited one, for sure. You know what, we talk about this actually all the time, and yes, we have won awards in the past. There hasn't been a tourism conference in, I believe, a couple of years, or at least awards at the tourism conference in a couple of years. So we believe we have some projects that are where we have won awards in the past with my predecessors. Nikki Stratton is somebody that I mentor. I love Nikki. The way that she ran the Bureau is the way that I think about running the Bureau every single day. And so, paying tribute to her. But no, I know they won awards, but yeah.
You've got big shoulders to stand on.
Don't be surprised if we get some down the road. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we're ahead. I just have to ask about this slide. Johnny Cash, do international visitors know about Johnny Cash?
I think they do. We hear about it all the time. And so, yes, I think that call out. And by the way, the Illinois State Fairgrounds, only 2 fairgrounds in the country that are on Route 66. That corner is on the original Route 66 in artery, and so is the stadium and all those businesses along there, Shays gas station. So that's really the tie-in for Route 66.
It's exciting to hear about all these things. I want to ask if the state capitol complex has many visitors, and should they be doing more things to attract visitors?
Well, and they are. And I think the state realized that the investment that they're making, $250 million to the state capitol complexes, you're going to enter from underground. So there'll be a visitor reception area there. You'll enter from underground. It'll make the capitol complexes experience so much more, right?
Yes,
I mean, it's already grandeur, right? And the rotunda is amazing, right? I mean, if you ever go there, you'll see people, including myself, laying on their backs, taking a photo of that area. But this will really move it forward. We'll really modernize it. I think will be a new stop, or a continued stop, but more stop. Maybe more on people's minds, that we have all this investment made in the state capitol complexes. Yes,
well,
tens of thousands of people a year, by the way. So
tens of thousands, and that's good to know. I felt like I needed to talk about that with this audience because the Citizens Club is about being civic-minded, and so getting to know the governmental units and being the state capitol, obviously we have many of those. It's kind of important, I think, for a lot of us to know about and to visit.
absolutely, and it's not the only investment, right? The old state capitol, as we know, has been closed, but it's going to reopen summer of 24. So we're excited about that. This is one of my favorites, views and shots of the old state capitol. I mean, this to me, we use this a lot in our marketing. It really tells you something, right? Those pillars, and the story behind it. The Springfield Segment Growth Alliance did this, the story along with the state historic sites about the old state capitol. So, for us, having this in the heart of downtown is so important, and so is all of our historic sites.
Yes.
The Dana Thomas House, we're not going to forget about the Dana Thomas House, right? Because
no, it's
Frank
beautiful.
Lloyd Wright, 99% of its original contents. You're having the first look, by the way, of this billboard. Very first look at this billboard. Take a look at this. So yeah, oh wait, this is being filmed, so maybe that. We're so proud of this billboard, so proud with our relationship with the Dana Thomas House, Justin Blandford, the state superintendent of historic sites. This is going to be amazing. We think this is going to capture some people. We think it's going to bring them off the road. Again, I think the Dana Thomas House sometimes doesn't get the same attention, that some of the other sites do, and we bring some attention to it, and we just can't wait, to roll these out. So.
Well, I've been at Lincoln Land for 5 years. I was there for 5 years, and we had the Rhodes Scholar program bringing visitors in. We always talked about other places for people to go to, and we learned that the number 2 place that they go to is the Dana Thomas House. So that's important for us to develop and to know about. And I was surprised about this. When does it go up again?
Soon.
Maybe Monday.
Hey, Amy
Oh,
Beadle.
any day now.
Amy Beadle. If you don't know Amy, by the way, you probably been
Yes.
living under a rock. But
Some of you heard her give a wonderful 8-minute, 10-minute presentation at the Pachakachu last week. So thank you, Amy.
You're welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that's our crack, she leads our crack marketing team and has since 2018. And so happy that she came back to the Bureau and doing this. So, yeah, soon. I will just say soon for this, but
Very soon.
it's been in our mind
2.
for a long time.
One to the south, one to the north.
Well, and ultimately, in terms of what draws people to this town, it was Green Bay Packers. I won't mention them again. For Green Bay and for you, for us all, it's Abraham Lincoln.
It is, yeah. I mean, we're the home of Abraham Lincoln. We'll never forget that. And, here's the thing for me is traveling across the state for 16 years, any community would die for Abraham Lincoln, right? I mean, they would love to be the home of Abraham Lincoln. We know that, right? So we will never forget that. But we also knew we had to diversify it a little bit, right?
Yes.
And so that's where our intentional tie to Route 66, Abraham Lincoln, obviously our historic sites, and we've also been marketing Lake Springfield as well. We think Lake Springfield is a real gem as well. But having those ties, but no, we will always be the home Abraham Lincoln, and be proud to do that. And we'll always be front and center in our marketing. But we need to diversify a little bit if we're going to grow. And I think that's what we're doing.
Well, and I think we've seen that too. The African American History Museum opened up 5 years ago in
Yep.
their new space, and they have accomplished great things. We have the Illinois State Museum here, we have the Dana Thomas House, we have people
Yep.
who made announcements here.
Yeah, so this mural's up. It's at the new transportation hub. It faces 9th Street side there. So we have Dr. Edwin Lee, we have Eva Kara Monroe, obviously President Obama, Abraham Lincoln, Ida B. Wells, and Susan Lawrence. All tributes to some of our heroes in the community, and we're so proud of that. So proud of the mural committee and the county and the city for all working together on that. But that's pretty cool. That's just kind of on one side, and then there's another mural on the other side that really focuses on transportation. So, that's coming. That's up now. So if you haven't seen it, please take a look at it. And
That new transportation center, that's going to be an introduction to the Springfield area, right?
it is. Yeah, that's going to be the way that we, our new way, I should say, that we welcome, our Amtrak passengers, and really, again, you take a look at that downtown corridor, that pedestrian corridor that could be there, and how we're welcoming them. It's going to be a new modern way. It's going to be high-tech, highly digital as well. So it's going to be pretty cool.
Everything's going to be high-tech, right?
No, it is. You're right. No, we're heading that way.
It's about time for us to quit, but I want one more question from you, or one more thought from you. If you could make anything happen in 2024 that would help you in your position as the leader of tourism, destination marketing here in this area, do you have any thoughts about what that would be?
Well, I don't think it's one thing, because it takes a collection of items. But certainly getting shovels in the ground at the Shields Sports Park, that's going to be transformational, generational.
Yes.
Having a new market, sports tourism, in our area. I mean, I cannot wait for our city to see the first 100-team tournament that comes to the Shields Sports Park. You're going to feel the impact. You're going to probably be crying over tourism. I hope you are, in many sense. But I think moving down that road, I think the investments that are being made at the state capitol complexes, let's not to mention the Illinois State Fairgrounds, right?
Absolutely.
We've
One
got
of my favorite places.
$60 million plus being invested, hopefully a new master plan, hopefully an additional $60 million or more invested in the Illinois State Fairgrounds. What's happening downtown, between almost $1 billion being invested in downtown Springfield, is happening there. This possible BOS center expansion, certainly very exciting. And I want to touch on real quick the Race Riot Memorial as well.
Yes.
So important for us to tell that story as we're moving forward, and how that connects everything else we're doing. Route history tells the story of the Black Traveler on Route 66. So important for us to come full circle on that. And it's interesting, I think, we're the home of the great emancipator, and then we had the 1908 race riots, not our best moment, right?
Right.
But we came back during Route 66 in the late 20s, 30s, and 40s to be a town that was a welcoming town for Route 66 travelers, especially the Black travelers along the route, right? We were a safe haven city. So we turned that around. We were a safe haven city when there's sundown towns around us. And I think we need to continue to tell that story. I think it's an important story for us to tell, to weave into the fabric of our destination marketing efforts. And we'll continue to do that and continue to highlight those stories and more.
That's great. Thank you. Norm?
Thank you. Thank you. Please thank our duo today. They're always legendary. Great job. Now it's your turn. We're looking for questions. I would ask you, one, to make it a question, please, not a speech. And secondly, give your name when you ask your question. Well, starting in the back to your right.
I'm Karen Witter, and I want to ask you about the airport. And I'm not supposed to make a speech, but as we're all driving to Decatur and Champaign and Bloomington and Peoria to pick up our relatives, and I know a lot of people travel here by car, but how important is it to have a functioning airport with planes in all of these grand plans for conventions and international visitors and the new shields, how critical is it from your point of view, and what is being done to improve Springfield's air service?
Yes, thank you, Karen. Absolutely. I think that the expansion of the BOS Center is not a fix, but it'll certainly help with lift at the airport, right? Because we're attracting larger conventions that require air service. So I think it adds what it is. But I think our airport is an amazing airport, right? When you take a look at it, not only aesthetically, the changes they made out there, but I know that, obviously one of the things we need is more connections as well. So I think a BOS Center expansion does help with that. I believe that, what the work that the Office of Planning and Economic Development, the SSGA is doing, more corporate certainly would help, with the airport as well. We're competing against communities like Bloomington, for example, Home and State Farm, Country Companies, Rivian, Caterpillar and Peoria, what have you. They've got that sense of it. So, yeah, I think that we can add from the destination side. It's not a fix, but I certainly think that the larger conventions we bring into town will demand airfare. And remember, we book those years in advance, generally 2 years, if not 4 to 5 years in advance. So our airport can see that, and our airlines can see that. So again, the more larger conventions we book will help with the airport in the long run.
Scott, to your left in the back.
Hi, Scott. Bob Immel. I used to work at the DoubleTree, and we'd get a lot of guests that would say, why don't you have like a shuttle service or something around, especially going up to Lincoln's Tomb and now the fairgrounds, something like a get on and get off type of shuttle. And on that same note, maybe even something for the people that would like to walk, something like what Boston does with the Freedom Trail is literally to paint a line throughout the downtown of something that would take you around to all of the attractions that are downtown.
So good points, Bob, and we've been thinking about that as well. Matter of fact, with our History Comes Alive program, we've been providing shuttle service to Petersburg, and I know you're going to say, oh, it's a Petersburg, it's outside of town. Remember, we're a regional marketing. We know that they're staying here. A day trip to Petersburg, New Salem, and back. We also did a shuttle from Union Station out to the fairgrounds and the Tomb as well, and so we provided that. We are thinking about a historical type of shuttle, if you would, something that we can along those lines. There's some prelim discussions with SMTD about that. We think that's an avenue. But a trolley system, let me just say, is very, very expensive, not only from labor to upkeep. And so I just don't know how we get either to that trolley system or back to it. We've seen less private trolleys as well, but it's certainly something to explore and that we're thinking about. We just need to put a new spin on it, but 100% we think that we need a historic, some kind of trolley or some kind of shuttle, absolutely.
Scott, front left.
Thanks for everything you guys do. I mean, Scott and Judy and Amy today also as well. Pardon me?
Tell me.
Oh, my name?
Yes.
We recognize the voice.
Oh. Paul O'Shea. Most of you don't know me, I know that, but I try to stay quiet and not be too much out in the public. But working with these individuals, and it's just been a miracle for our area to have them involved. And the vitality, you talk about the downtown. Well, I have my office downtown and spend a lot of time down there as well as the rest of the community. But the importance of that, part of it is one thing. The movement downtown is including the residential now, upper story and other aspects of that. And you're able to deal with these types of issues like any other. I mean, and I step in to see you occasionally. There's always positive comments that I make, but whenever there's suggestions, you always follow through as well. I think we are extremely blessed to have this kind of dynamic sort of leadership in this area, and it's paid off. I mean, Springfield is really a destination, and I just think the one thing happening right now is more of the vitality of downtown, the upper story, residential living, and other things, which can be a benefit as well. So we have a lot to show, and fortunately, we have you all, and you too, making these things available and we have people here today who are a vital part of what making it happening too. So I think that's a great thing for all of Springfield. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Paul. And I think you're wearing a Looking for Lincoln pin today, so thank you for this one here. I think you have it on, do you? Or maybe I can't see it from here. But anyway, I know you normally wear it, and thank you for that. And that's just a shout out to the Visit Springfield team, on what they do on a daily basis. And, to the city of Springfield, the Mayor Misty Busher administration. I have some directors in the office, some fellow directors, so thank you, or here today. Thank you for being here and everything that you do in the support. But, not one organization can do it. And one of our core values is collaboration. And we collaborate every single project we do. We want to bring in as many people as we can and have ownership from a community level, not just from a bureau level.
Back here to the left.
Cinda Klickna. First of all, I appreciate you putting in cards at the visitor center. I'm the president of the Dana Thomas House Foundation. That's very helpful. I will say, though, that I've taken cards to hotels, and I've gone back to see if they need more cards, and there's nothing out. And I am told, well, they're behind our desk if anybody wants to ask. I said, well, how do they know to ask? So if there's anything that can be done to maybe put some of these things in our hotels to talk about what is in the area. And I'm very interested in the work that you're doing on the billboard, and the foundation would love to work with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so to the hotel's point, we've had those discussions with the hotels. A lot of that comes down from the corporate level and the franchise level. They want the clutter away, so it's not so much in the room anymore. It's not so much in the public areas. You'll see very few. You'll see a few brochure racks here and there, mostly digital nowadays. So I think that's where they're having an issue with, is it's coming from the top down. So we'll continue those conversations, absolutely, Cinda, 100%.
If you didn't notice, we have copies of these Scott kindly brought for us today, all out on the table in the lobby. Please pick one up before you leave, so you have that hard copy as well as access to your computer website.
Yeah, real quick note on that. In 2018, we combined the Capital City Visitor with the Bureau's Visitor Guide. We had two Visitor Guides, very confusing. We joined forces with the Illinois Times, and it's been a great partnership. Having one Visitor Guide that we could market regionally. We had to put, we started putting ads from different local communities that, again, are in our region: Jacksonville, Litchfield, Lincoln, and that's okay, because, that's okay. We need to be regional. We need to expand a little bit. We know that majority of travelers are going to stay here in Springfield. They're going to experience in Springfield. But, we want to be good neighbors as well. And I think combining the two has been one of the best things we've done in the last 5 years.
Front to your right, if I can get to that.
Steve Narduli, you haven't mentioned the YW block. Is there anything use that you can make of the YW block?
I will defer that to the policymakers. No, listen, I know there's been a lot of discussion on that, and I won't go completely down the road, but certainly DSI knows through their master plan and conversations. I think we need dedicated event space in downtown Springfield, in Springfield in general, wherever that may be. But we need some dedicated event space. I think, what Sherman's done with their amphitheater, and other cities have also duplicated that as well. And the draw they've done, we know the Devon Amphitheater in Decatur as well. Now we know there's some additional money behind that. It's a little bit larger than what, the idea we would have. But, I think event space that's dedicated for us, that, we don't have to close as many streets, that we can land on an area. Maybe the farmer's market can land on that, dedicated space, but having some dedicated space. But I know there's some other ideas out there that's maybe a little in front of and a little out of my lane. I'll allow the policymakers to really, move that forward, and then we'll market it.
Norm Sims, Mr. Microphone. Following up on that, Scott, there was dedicated space, and that is the park area in front, right to the west of the Presidential Library Museum. It was designed for that purpose. What can we do to get more use of spaces like that are largely controlled by the state?
Yeah, I think we work with the state of Illinois. Obviously, we work with ALPL-LIM, on activating those spaces more often. I think they're open to the conversation. Director Shutt has been very open, those different conversations, and that's one of them. So I think you'll see some different activations, some different uses of Union Square Park down the road. And again, I think some other areas, and real excited to see what they do with the Northern Mansion block at one point.
To the back, on your left.
Hi, Bernie Schoenberg. About the mural at the Transportation Center, I noticed Ida B. Wells, and if I knew, I forgot her relation to Springfield, because I know she was big in Chicago.
Yeah, so the co-founder of the NAACP, and we know that the 1908 race riots led to the formation of the NAACP. So she was one of the co-founders. I believe it was founded in New York, but really it was right after the 1908 race riots. So yes, she's got a direct tie, not only living in Springfield, but having that distinction of forming the NAACP.
I believe she also came down here as we were fighting for the legislation that allowed women to vote. So she
Thank
came
you,
to the
Judy. Yes,
Capitol.
absolutely.
Anybody? Paul O'Shea mentioned as an aside to me that everybody in this room is a promoter of the city when you really think about it. And what that leads to my mind as a question is, many of the exciting things that we've talked about today that you've mentioned have all taken years and many, many people to do, and we're in this microwave society. We want to see things happen right away. How can we get the public to understand that it takes a lot of effort and a lot of time? Take the railroad relocation. Chairman Van Meter knows this very well. It took years to get that moving and involved. How do you deal with that on a day-to-day basis?
I mean, one of the first things you do is follow us on social media at Visit Springfield. That's a shameless plug, by the way, if you're not already. I mean, you will have that. And follow some of the other organizations, the DSIs, the Office of the Mayor. I mean, you'll see these things happening, right? And I think we should get excited about that. Our best days are ahead of us. We're in this mini renaissance right now. I'm so excited about where we're heading, not only in 25, 26, and beyond, but, you know, for that 100th anniversary of Route 66, our city is going to look amazing. Again, with all the investments that are made at the state and local levels, everything that's happening for us. So yeah, I mean, I think be engaged in your community, follow along, and tell the world. There's nothing wrong with that. Hashtag Visit Springfield, hashtag the mayor's office. I mean, you know, let's be proud of our city, be a tourist in your hometown, know your city. You know, I think that can only help. And, you know, I think our visitors are in tune to that too, you know, when our community is making comments.
We have time for one or two more questions. Who else? In the back. The chairman.
Andy Van Meter. My question is, Scott, what would you, if you had $2 million more a year in your budget, what would you do with it?
Outstanding question.
That's a good question. There's, I guess, a host of things I would do, Mr. Chairman. You know what? I would certainly expand our marketing efforts. We spend just under $500,000 a year on our direct marketing. That's digital, traditional, what have you. So I would certainly expand that. I would take some of those dollars and create new destination events because I think there's got to be money poured into those destination events. And oftentimes we have to look at it more than just the return on hotel tax. It's the economic impact. And if you strategically could put those events in motion on our shoulder seasons, I think that you could add to the overall impact of traveler expenditures and destinations. So, yeah, I would probably do a couple of things there.
Anybody? Scott, in your wildest dreams, beyond $2 million, if you could do one thing that changed the entire landscape in terms of tourism, convention, business, what would that be?
Well, I think we're already moving in that direction. We've been talking about sports tourism. We've been talking about being a step higher on our convention business as well. So we're moving in a lot of those directions. I would like to see our airport come along, and I think it will. I think that we're providing the catalyst to allow that to happen. I think Mark Hannon and his team do an amazing job at the airport, and they'll continue just to grow down there. But I will say, we're also taking a look at AI. I think pouring some efforts into AI and what that looks like down the road is going to be interesting, and we'll take a hard look at that over the winter and start moving towards that effort. But AI and what that's going to mean down the road is going to be very interesting.
Thank you. This has been a fascinating panel. Give a thank you to these people. They did a great job. If you have been at Citizen Club events before, thank you for coming back. If you're listening or this is your first time, become a member. This all happens because of you. In fact, we've got a gentleman that will take your dues for current members, our future members, sitting right in the back of the room right today. His only smile comes when somebody hands him a check for a membership, so make him happy today. Thank all of you for coming, for listening in, for streaming this session, and again, thank you guys. That's the thing. We'll look forward to seeing you next month.